Hi, Jason Lucas, Excel Formulas. Welcome to my video on XLOOKUP with wildcards. XLOOKUP uses two different types of wildcards, the question mark or the asterisk. The question mark represents any single character, so in the example here, it represents either the letter Y or I in Smith. The asterisk, on the other hand, represents any number of characters. So placed in front of the word east, it could potentially return northeast or southeast. And if ever you want your wildcard to be taken literally and not used as a wildcard in your formula, you'll put a tilde in front of it. All right, let's take a look at how we can use the wildcards in the XLOOKUP formula. I will start with the asterisk. So on the left, I have a table with a list of employees and their employee ID. And on the right, I have an attendance table. The employees were asked to attend the training, and when they showed up, in order to track attendance, we asked them to sign in. But what you'll notice is that not every employee used their full name or their proper name when they signed in. So I highlighted these examples in green. S. Rodriguez is really Sofia Rodriguez. Eve Sanchez is really Evelyn Sanchez. Emma Johnson just put E. Johnson. Dan Cook is really Daniel Cook. So let's just go ahead and take a look at how we can use the asterisk to find out if they attended the training or not. I'll go ahead and start with the XLOOKUP formula. All right, to tackle this, I'm going to write the XLOOKUP formula as though the data is consistent and I don't need to use a wildcard. So in this case here, my lookup value, which is the first argument that we use in the XLOOKUP formula, would be first name, and then I'm going to put an ampersand, quotations, put a space, another ampersand, last name. So this, in theory, would be my lookup value. So I could go ahead and write the formula like this. I could go equals XLOOKUP, my lookup value, which I've already created, my lookup array, which is going to be the name column. So I'm just going to highlight that, hit F4 to lock it in because I'm going to be dragging that down, and my return array, which is going to be the attendance column. Highlight that, F4 to lock it in, and I could now close out the XLOOKUP formula. This first one will return an NA just because Emma did not enter her name correctly, but if I drag this down, you'll see that a lot of them do work, so I do have attendance tracking for most of them. Let's fix the formula so that we can actually capture attendance for everyone, including those who only entered their name partially. So I have my formula here, and what I'm going to do, B4 represents the first name. So in the place of the first name, what I'm going to do is put in an asterisk. But you need to remember always that an asterisk is considered text. So you'll want to put that between quotations, which is what I'm going to do. And then I want to include the last name in the search because it seems that everybody always consistently entered their last name. So what I'll do, I will add an ampersand. So now I'm saying find anything and Johnson. So anything and Johnson. And let's hit enter. Oh, I still got an NA. Let me show you why. So there are other arguments that I can use in the XLOOKUP formula. Let's take a look at them. The next argument is if not found. We don't need that one. Match mode. Here's what we need. We want to use and specify that we're using a wildcard because by default XLOOKUP uses exact match. So let me just select the wildcard and let's try that again. And now we have her attendance. Let's drag that down and we have attendance for everybody. Now let's take a look at how you can use a question mark as a wildcard. So here I still have the same list of employees on the left with their names and IDs, and on the right, this time for attendance, we asked the employees to check in using their employee ID, maybe for reasons of confidentiality. What you'll notice is that there's a certain consistency to the data here. So the employee ID is always 6 characters in length, and the middle always utilizes the same value, which is 3 zeros. So the question mark works really good when there is a certain type of consistency to the format of the data. But what you'll notice over here, I've highlighted in green. Some employees were a little bit tired when they signed in for the training, and instead of putting in a 0 in the middle, they entered the letter O as a capital. Like in the previous example, I'm going to start by building out our lookup value, which in this case here is going to be the employee ID. So the first thing I want to capture from the employee ID are the first two characters. In order to do that, I shall use the left function. So I'm looking for the first two characters. So where is that? That's going to be in column A4, and I would like to grab the first two characters. Next, we know that there's always going to be 3 zeros in the middle, so I'm just going to do ampersand, quotations, 3 zeros, close the quotation, ampersand, and we're going to grab the final character to the right, and I shall use the right function to do that. So right, where am I looking? I'm looking in the ID column, and the number of characters will be 1. And there I have my employee ID, which I can use for my lookup formula. Let's now construct our XLOOKUP. So I'll start by typing in XLOOKUP, our lookup value, which I've already created. Next will be the lookup array, which is the employee ID. So I've gone ahead and highlighted that, and I'm going to hit F4 to lock that in. And we want to capture the return value, and I'm going to go ahead and select the column with the attendance, hit F4 to lock that in. And just like last time, I'll leave the formula like this. Let's close out the bracket, hit enter, and Emma Johnson pulled back in NA, and that's because she actually used an O in the middle 3 characters. But let's drag this down so we can see that it does work for those who followed the format. Now let's fix the formula so that we can capture every ID, even those that used the 0, sorry, not the 0, but the capital O, as opposed to a 0 in the middle 3 characters. So what I'll do is in my lookup value, instead of 3 zeros, I'll put in 3 question marks. And just like last time, we want to specify that this is a wildcard search. So I'm going to hit 2, and let's hit enter, and that should bring me back Emma Johnson's attendance. Yes, it does, and I'm going to go ahead and drag that down, and there you have it. 2 scenarios using the 2 different types of wildcards available in XLOOKUP. Hey, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I have more videos on XLOOKUP in the description below. Check it out.